Hello and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is Greg Young, and on behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you have joined us for our next live presentation from Nexe Innovations. Please note you can submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view companies' availability for one-on-one meetings through the Schedule Meetings tab found on the conference platform. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Ash Guglani, President and Director of Nexe Innovations, which trades on the OTCQX Best Market under the symbol XTRAF and on the TSX under the symbol XTRA. Welcome, Ash.
Thanks for having me. And everyone, welcome to a presentation of Nexe Innovations. For the next 15 to 20 minutes, I'll take you through what our company does and where we're going. And from there, we'll open it up to Q&A. So just regular forward-looking statements. So what is Nexe Innovations? Nexe Innovations is a company that's committed to putting the planet first. Our mission is to eliminate plastic waste by pioneering innovative compostable materials that break down and can be safely returned to the soil after use. Our flagship product is a compostable coffee pod. We've developed a compostable coffee pod for the Keurig machine, and we're working on developing a coffee pod for the Nespresso original line machine. So why coffee pods? The whole purpose of a coffee pod, it was supposed to be convenient and quick, but little did they expect it to become as big as it has. 80 billion pods are consumed a year, and that's still growing at, I think, 7 to 8% a year. I mean, it's the convenience of it that makes it so good. The only problem is they're filling up landfills every year and releasing methane, and landfills are piling up. And what we've done is, I think you've seen over the last little while, there's been a sustainable alternative, which is supposed to be a recyclable pod. Well, it doesn't work. The whole purpose of a coffee pod was it's convenient. If you look at a recyclable pod, it is a difficult task and it requires a lot of human interaction, meaning you need to rip off the lid, throw that in the garbage because it's usually aluminum. You got to take the coffee grounds out, throw that in the compost, and then you got to rip out the filter and wash the coffee pod for it to actually be truly recycled. So, and realistically, no one's going to do that, and hence why less than 5% of all recycled pods are actually recycled. So, what we're doing is we've created a convenient solution. It's a challenging solution because of the high heat as well as the water pressure that goes through the machine. It's taken us some time to really perfect it, and now we've perfected it and we've scaled it. But our whole pod, you could essentially brew it and essentially throw it into a green bin or any industrial compost program in your municipality. So that was the whole purpose of what we're doing, and we find that we feel our pod is probably the most disruptive technology out there, where there's significant distribution, and even the big guys are starting to realize recycling doesn't work. So I'll take you through that. So why invest in Nexe? We've built the infrastructure where we're fully vertically integrated, meaning we make our own resin in-house, we compound, and we actually injection mold. So we're making the majority of our components in-house. And what that allows us to do is, one, compete and control our supply chain, compete on plastic pricing, and also control the quality of the products that we've put out. We've also done a BPI certification, which means we are accepted in all industrial composts across North America. I think composting facilities I think that composting infrastructure is going to continue to grow, especially in North America here. It's pretty big in Europe. So, we have met all the stringent standards that we need for our compostable materials to show it breaks down, or that it is certified compostable. unlike the soft bottom, there are some other pods out there that are considered compostable, but ours is different. Ours is a fully enclosed, patented hard bottom that allows you to hold more coffee. So what we do is, because we're able to hold more coffee, we're good for the world, but also we have one of the stronger taste profiles in any pod out there. So we'll walk through that a little bit more as we go through this. But in reality, we've also built this infrastructure not to just target single serve coffee pods, but the global plastics market is over 700 billion, and half of that is single use plastics. So we're starting to see some traction on our coffee pods as we've built out our facility now, and we're going to be looking at what other avenues we could play in a little bit later. So we're definitely in the right space at the right time. Again, talking about the coffee pod, as I mentioned, we have patents around our pod that allows us to get more volume in our pod than most pods. I'd say probably 95% of the coffee pods that are out there. We have patents and IP around why we're able to actually create a superior taste in our coffee pod. So we have a pod that not only is good for the world, but it actually tastes great. The coffee will taste great as well. We don't have any manufactured PFAS substances in our pod, and like I said, we're BPI certified compostable. But we really believed in what we've created here, and we've done studies, independent studies outside of BPI certification that shows our pod could break down in an industrial compost in as little as 17 days. So we've put a lot of time and effort and a lot of trial and tribulations to kind of get this right, and we've nailed the fully compostable coffee pod. And like I said, what we've learned from the coffee pod is now we could really transfer that to anything else we want to get into, and we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. But look, in general, for compostable pods, there are 32 companies that have a listed BPI certified pod that are considered compostable for sale. 85 of them are compostable pod. 85% of them are the compostable soft bottom pods. And like I said, I think the one thing that's a huge advantage for us is we are cost competitive with plastic. You'll notice, and we'll talk about it a little bit, Nespresso, Keurig are all now finally coming out with compostable pods after they've been selling recyclable pods for a while. But you'll notice they're both going to be charging you a premium to what they're charging you right now for their recyclable options. This is exactly what I'm talking about. We are ahead of the curve when compared to the two largest coffee pod brand companies, Keurig and Nespresso. Keurig's recently released a release that they're going to be beta testing a pod which will require you to buy a new machine, and they're also saying it's going to cost you more money. So it's going to cost you more per pod than what you're paying for a plastic alternative. And Nespresso's been testing a paper compostable pod in Europe as well. So I think with the Nespresso side, they're really targeting home compostability. I think home compostability requires a lot more, or we think home compostability requires a lot more work for the consumer. So, we're going to stick to focusing on industrial compost. And as I said, I think industrial composting is going to continue to gain traction, especially in the U.S. as we run out of space for landfills. Again, talking about the market in general, I think we've talked about this. It's an 80 billion plus market of pods consumed a year, continues to grow at 8.5%. We have built a facility in Windsor, Ontario, which is right by the U.S. border, that can produce about 500 million pods annually. So I think we're in a strong position to show disruption in a market that I think with Nespresso and Keurig trying to commit to compostable, I think we're ahead of the curve, and I think we'll be able to show that as you've seen. We've put out some news recently announcing some partnerships with some companies, so I think you'll continue to see that to grow over the next 12 months. This slide's pretty self-explanatory. Compostable materials will be one of the critical solutions to the plastic crisis, with production expected to grow approximately 18% per year. As mentioned, we're running out of real estate for landfills. Recycling requires a lot of separation and such, and I think composting is going to play a big part of where we're going with waste processing in the future. So, I think one thing I will say is where I think what we're doing at Nexe with the coffee pod makes sense for composting is because of the coffee grounds actually stay in the pod. We are causing food diversion by putting this into industrial composters versus leaving it in landfills and creating substantial amounts of methane. So I think what we're doing, especially for coffee pods in general, I think compostable offerings are the best option for coffee pods for sure. Again, talking about in-house capabilities, we are end-to-end. We create our own proprietary resin. We compound it. We injection mold it, and we create majority of our components in-house for our compostable capsule. And with that, with that process for the end-to-end component manufacturing process, we've already made that investment to get into other verticals later as we grow. But again, our Windsor facility is about 54,000 square feet, strategically located by the U.S.-Canadian border, with a highly skilled workforce, given the deep experience in injection molding and automation with the automotive industry. So we are really set to scale as we've launched our first product here. Most of the investment's been made. We don't have massive capex to really get our facility up and running. All that investment's been made, and we've as we announced yesterday. We have built a lot of IP around what we're doing, especially over the last 6 months as we get ready to get into full operation here. So I think we're doing everything the right way, and I think everything we've learned from the coffee side should benefit us in accelerating R&D for other projects a lot quicker than the move we've had in coffee, which is one of the more challenging products you can make, given, as I mentioned, the high heat and water pressure in a single-serve coffee machine. Again, just talking about potential future opportunities with our compostable materials technology, we could look at things such as, and our know-how that we figured out how to, with our proprietary resin, we can look at things in the cosmetics industry. We could look at things, we could look at opportunities in medical. We could also look at yogurt cups, dairy industry, other food opportunities. So I think, as you see us starting to execute on the coffee side, you'll also see the innovation side come out of Nexe with some of the other materials that, or some of the other opportunities that we're looking at currently as well. And to highlight, majority of the capital investment has been made to get into these other opportunities. So it's just not all about coffee for us. It's really executing and scaling on coffee, and obviously getting into other verticals. As I just talked about, our strategic priority is to grow our customer base, focusing on B2B businesses. I think we've done a good job here with our first 3 customers. We've been diligent in who we want to work with and strategic. We have Eco Beans, which is a West Coast brand, available in retail locations in Canada, here in Western Canada, as well as the OCS space in Canada. Bridgehead Coffee, which is an established coffee company here in Ontario with 17 locations. and some good retail opportunities as well. And then in the U.S., we have EcoCups, which is a company based out of New Jersey, high volume online seller and Amazon retailer. So I think this is an important relationship for us because it allows us to expand into the U.S. But I think the bigger picture is, as you could see by the 3 that we've announced, and I think we're working on some other big opportunities as well. We're really spreading the distribution channels between retail, OCS, as well as online with EcoCups. So I think we're doing a very strategic job, or a very good job of strategically increasing that audience. A little bit about the team. Darren Foots, he's the CEO. Myself, I'm the president. We've got Cam, who comes from a institutional investment banking background on the research side. She's in charge of IR and corporate strategy. We've got 3 independent directors at this time. Haitham Hodale, who's one of the is the senior vice president of corporate development at Wheaton Precious Metals, which is a streaming company. Or a royalty company, and I think it's got a market cap of over 20 billion, as well as Graham Gillian, Killian Ruby, who help in different facets of the business on the corporate governance side as well as on the accounting side. So I think we've got a really good team to build from here. Going forward, there's a few slides in the appendix. I think the presentation is going to be available to everyone here. So lots of good detail about compostability versus biodegradability versus recyclability versus why compostable pods are the proper solution for single serve coffee. So everyone will have access to this investor deck, and you could definitely follow through on all this information. But at this time, I'll conclude the presentation part, and I'll open it up to questions. Okay, first question is, you've provided an update on your IP just this week. What other markets could you leverage this IP for? As mentioned, through this whole process, what we've learned with coffee and using our proprietary resin, we'll be able to take some of this knowledge and transfer it over to other industries. I do see some really big opportunities in the cosmetics world. I see some big opportunities in the medical world, as well as other food applications as well. So really, I think what we've done here over the last little while is made that big investment. Now we're starting to show some execution, and I think that'll help us leverage our IP into other opportunities. And we're starting to get some attention. We are starting to get some calls from some interesting segments outside of coffee. So I think as we continue to show execution, I think there's going to be some other opportunities popping up. But I'd label, as I've said in the deck, the medical, cosmetics, other food opportunities as some of the bigger ones that I see, as well as agriculture. So I think those are some of the bigger ones. Next question is, the partnerships you have announced, are they past the trial runs of your product, and how do you see these partnerships evolving in 2025? Yeah, we're definitely past the trial stage. We've been working with these partners for over 12 months. We've done a lot of sampling with them, but where we're at now is, we are starting to get orders from them. They are starting to get our products out there, and like I said, we're working with well-established brands with different audiences. So I think this is going to help us get our pod out there and get us some exposure. Just with the announcements I've made recently, I've seen I've heard from other companies, and I've started some new discussions with other companies and in our pipeline here to grow beyond what we have right now. But I could tell you we'll have some more exciting news around continued deliveries. And I think our plant is really getting busy on the coffee side, and you'll continue to see growth there, as well as other segments at some point. Next question I have is, your share price has been trailing around 30 to 40 cents. I'm assuming that's Canadian. Given your large addressable market, technology, and being vertically integrated, what is the market missing? I don't think the market's missing anything. I think we just need to start showing execution. I think our book value of our company is about 37 cents Canadian, I believe it is, or somewhere around that. But we just got to show execution, and I think what we're doing now is we are starting to show that. We've been working very hard over the last 6 to 12 months to get our infrastructure ready. We've been working hard, as you can see. We've had 4 patents granted in the last since June. So I think we're at that stage. We don't have a lot of capex. We still got a very healthy balance sheet. I think what you're going to see is you're going to see us put more of an effort into just showing execution in coffee, scaling that side of the business, and start getting an ROI there, as well as using our injection molding and our compounding capabilities to get into other verticals around the same time. So I think we're really kind of at the starting line now, and I think people are starting to notice. And continued execution is going to be key to get our stock price moving the right way. I mean, it already has been moving the right way. We've had a good year, but I think people are starting to see that the business is finally here. Next question is, can you talk a little bit about the pod designs with multiple compartments? Yeah, sure. I mean, I could talk at a high level about this. I think for us, we've done multiple iterations on our capsule. We have a lot of IP around our capsule and how it's put together. We have IP that allows us to get more grammage into our capsule. So, a lot of these components now, when we first started out, we used a third party everything, but as we raised all this capital, we've brought everything in-house. So what that allows us to do is continue to refine and not only make the parts stronger and more versatile, but really make everything more refined, so you're actually getting a good cup of coffee. Like, I think that's one of the things we don't highlight enough is we have bought the ability to get a 13 gram of coffee capsule out there. There's not a lot of pods out there that can hold 13 grams of coffee. I'd say we're probably in 5% of the highest volume per cup you could get. And I think definitely for a compostable cup, we are definitely the highest volume per cup. So that's why coffee's taken a long time. There's a lot of moving parts in coffee, and it's great to have a solution that's great for the earth, but it's even better to have a solution that tastes good as well. So we've really nailed just how the coffee is extrapolated from or extracted from the pod itself. So those are probably the main points I'd hit on the multiple components. Next question is thoughts on your valuation, what the catalysts are for a revaluation of Nexe. It looks like your market cap requires your cash balance. It looks like your market cap equals your cash balance. Yeah, like I said earlier, I think it's just continued execution. We've been quiet for a long time building this moat and this infrastructure. I think now you're going to continue to see some strides as we continue to put out news about deliveries and perhaps working towards as well as working beyond just coffee. But we do have a lot of. We're busy now. Like our floor is starting to get busy with orders, so we're going to continue to get out those delivery newses and maybe even a few supply agreements. So I think the catalyst is just going to be continued news, as well as at some point, where do we go next beyond just coffee pods? Next question is, should investors expect more coffee partnerships in 2025? Absolutely. I mean, this is really, we're really at the starting line. We've got a capacity of almost 500 million pods to fill, so we should definitely expect more coffee partnerships, but we should also expect us to grow with the partnerships we've created. There's a reason why we're working with all these with all these coffee companies, because there's a lot of room to grow within with these partnerships that we have to date. I mean, every company that we've announced and even the ones that we're working with to announce, they're established players in the pod business. They have their distribution channels, so there's a lot of room to grow within and ramp up, and obviously fill more SKUs than the ones we have to date. So I think you will see more partnerships, but I think you'll also see a good ramp up with the partners we have to date. Next question is, what is the timeline of your partnership with Keurig and all commence? I think our goal is to be disruptive. We have the capacity to be disruptive with the ability to do 500 million pods. You're seeing, some of the bigger players like Keurig and Nespresso finally realizing compostable is the way to go for coffee pods. As I mentioned, recyclable doesn't work. Less than 5% of all these capsules are being recycled. They're being thrown in landfills, and our landfills are already stacked with enough methane, and we're really running out of room with landfills. So I think for us, we're just going to continue to show scale, and I think people are going to continue to watch us show that scale. So I think we're in a good position to just keep our heads down and keep working, and I think people will notice. I think I've answered all questions. So thanks everyone for joining the call. And you could reach out to us. You could check out our website, nexinnovations.com. Our information's all there. Please, I think our presentation's there as well, and reach out anytime. And we're expecting a very busy and exciting 2025. Thank you so much.